What's up you guys, this is Chris Rukov for Hand of the Week. Today we have a very interesting hand that I picked up from a student of mine. You'll see why it's interesting. We have pocket nines from the button, it's 10-0 as it's kind of obvious. We got open from the middle position, cutoff calls, we're just gonna call along, which is exactly what I would have done. Small blind joins in, big blind folds. I mean, here you have such a good odds. I don't know, is there any really hand that you can fold? But I mean, the guy decided to fold, maybe had like 10 deuce, I don't know. But it seems 13%, I mean, I don't know. I would maybe have a huge calling range there. All right, let's take a flop. Flop comes 10, 8, 7, 10 and 7 of diamonds. Now we have a multi-way pot and we have a open-ended straight draw. Now there's a few possibilities here. We automatically start to think, what if the original better c-bets? We're just gonna call, but let's see what unravels. Well, the original aggressor actually does not bet. This board is well coordinated, it's wet, and let's see what the cutoff does. He checks. Now here I kind of rushed out a little bit. We check behind. I think betting and checking here is either way fine. Checking takes the more passive line where we decrease our variance. We do have a pocket pair, which is second pair to the board. Maybe I'm more inclined to bet something along the lines of 55 to 65 cents, but my student decided to check, which is also fine. Now with the check we get exposed to a lot of overcards. I think at this point we do have the best hand, because if the small blind has a 10, I think he is going to check. But if the aggressor has a 10 or the cutoff has a 10, I think they will bet in that spot. So far what I think is that none of those two guys has a 10. This guy, I have no idea, he might or might not have a 10. There's also flop straights here. Keep in mind 9-6 is into this guy's range because we gave him such a good odds. Jack 9 is also into this guy's range. Flush draws, it can go either way. He can decide. I think flush draw he's going to be betting for the most part, not always. So I'm not excluding the fact that somebody has a flush draw, and I'm not excluding the fact that he might actually have a flop straight. Those two, they definitely do not have a flop straight. I am pretty, 95% sure. Turn comes a very good card. Now the turn is an 8 of diamonds. We got open-ended straight flush draw and the board pairs. Now if somebody has 8-7, for example this guy or this guy, they would have bet. So I don't think they have 8-7. He might have 8-7 and we want to see if he has 8-7 now. Actually, even if he does have 8-7 now, he's still not gonna bet for the most part. I think maybe 50-50. He's gonna bet half the time and he's gonna check half the time. The reason being is that he does have the nuts now. I mean, the nuts is obviously pocket 10s and the second nuts is 10-8, so he does have the third nuts. But I think he might go for a check if he has it. I personally might go for a small bet if I'm in his shoes and I have 8-7. He does bet 50 cents, so my suspicion is that I'm not sure we do have his hand beat. Also any other 8, 8-9 for example, there's not many of those, considering we get 2 9s and there's 2 8s on the board. That leaves it with just 4 combos of 8-9. And if we think he has 8-9 suited, that's 2 combos. Alright, so this guy joins in. I'm not sure exactly what that guy has. Maybe a random 9 like king 9, ace 9. So he's on an open-ended. Just like us, but without the flush draw. Maybe he also has the open-ended with the flush draw with the ace of diamonds. But I'm thinking with a hand like that, ace of diamonds, 9 hearts, or ace of diamonds, 9 of spades, he should have bet the flop, considering he has backdoor nut flush draw and he has an open-ended. And all he needs to do on the flop here is bet so he can get rid of me, because I'm in position of him. And that's the only reason that he might have chose to bet here, but he didn't bet. So with that said, he calls. Here we're just gonna call. I don't see a reason of raising here. Our hand did not improve. Actually, our hand got weaker, considering somebody might have a random 8. such as ace-8, king-8, 8-9, like you already said, 8-6 maybe? And all of those hands, most of those hands that I just mentioned, I'm giving to the small blind. Like, this guy's kind of a mystery to me. He cold calls, he kind of seems like something like 6s or like 5s, you know, some small pocket pair. Because if he has like overcards, he should have been folding here, unless he has overcards like ace jack with the ace diamonds, or king jack with the king of diamonds, or king 10 with a king of diamonds. But with king 10, he should have been betting the flop, and maybe if he has king jack of diamonds, he should have been betting the flop as well with the flush draw. But anyways, we just call here, which is, you know, absolutely great. River, you might have already suspected what the river would have been. The river is the 6 of diamonds, which makes us with a straight flush, and we're in position and we're great. So far we've played small ball, and small ball is the main thing that I teach my students on the micro stakes how to play. Because when you play small ball, you don't expose yourself too much when you don't have a hand. And on the lower limits, generally players do not know how to play, so they call way more often than they should, but they don't bet enough, in my opinion, in my experience. So if you keep the pot small when you don't have a hand, then you can easily bet something like 3/4 of a pot, or even pot size bets, and more often than not, they will call your bet with a weaker holding. So let's see, he checks, that's interesting. So if he checks, I don't think he has 8-7 anymore, maybe just a random 8, and he doesn't have a flush draw, definitely. I mean flush draw with the ace or with the king, because with the ace or the king, he should bet here. Okay, our guy from the cutoff bets now, which he's the biggest mystery to me. Pocket 5s and pocket 6s is what I gave him, or maybe something like ace jack, but ace jack flush draw should have bet the turn. I mean, should have raised the turn. Ace jack flush draw should raise here, just to basically raise, get some money here while he can, because if the river comes another diamond and the original bettor does not have a diamond, then he's done. He's not gonna get any more money. So I think with the ace high flush draw here, we have to raise. Also versus a random 8, like 8-9, 8 jack, we should consider raising here, just to protect versus a potential full house. Alright, he bets. Now here we're gonna obviously raise. What I would do is I would go for like as much value as I can. I'm not gonna go all in, but I would definitely go something around the lines of $4 to $6, something like that. The reason being is I don't want to go all in like, oh look, I have like the freaking quad 8s, but I would like to get paid by the ace and the king if they're into the deck, any potential full house, any straight, but I don't want to discourage. If this guy has a straight and I ship all in, I think he's going to be folding the straight here, because obviously there's 4 diamonds there. Also, any queen or a jack, if I can make some money out of the queen high and a jack high flush, I would like to make some money out of those hands. If I actually raise all in, I think he's going to be folding the jack and the queen, but I don't want that. So the lower the raise I make, the wider the calling range of this guy will be. So something along the lines of, you know, $4 to $6, anything of that nature will be fine. My student decides to bet 530, which is great. Let's see, this guy, I'm wondering, is that guy's gonna come along, because he's been repping something that I don't really know what he's been repping. All right, he folds, and we got a call, which is great. We scooped the pot. Now sadly in this website we cannot see what the opponent has, but this hand was interesting to me for a couple of reasons. First, we decided not to bet here to, you know, pot control, or to play low ball, or to play small ball, which is great. That's what I teach. I would opt to bet here more often than not, to be honest. Maybe something along the lines of 70-80% of the time I'm gonna bet something along the lines of, like I said, 50 cents or like 55 to 65 cents, just to put some money into the pot. I have an open-ended straight, and I want to see if he raises and he re-raises, I know I'm beat. I'm pretty sure at this point I have the best hand. Now I'm going to be betting here for protection, and protection is also a value bet, because my 9s are good against under pairs, which I'm not concerned of, but also against over cards. And if the turn comes a jack, a queen, a king, or an ace, most likely one of my 3 opponents, because we play a multi-way pot, would have one of those cards, and that's gonna basically decrease my equity into the hand. So that's why I want to charge them basically for having an overcard, and if they want to, you know, call with overcard. Also flush draw, I don't want to let a flush draw, let's say ace jack diamonds, or ace 8 of diamonds, or whatever, king 8 of diamonds. I don't want to give him a free card. I want to charge him for that draw. And that's the reason I'm gonna bet here, but he chose to check, which is fine. But that's an interesting spot, I think, here to discuss. Do we check or do we bet? I'm gonna bet more often than not. And the second reason it's interesting to me is here he can obviously raise, because, you know, we're thinking, oh my god, I got open-ended straight flush draw. Keep in mind, the straight draw, it is not that strong anymore, because any other 9 will be chopping. Stronger hand than ours is going to be any 9 with an over card to the board with the diamond, if that makes sense. For example, 9 jack is already there, but if somebody has 9 jack with the jack of diamonds, we're smashed. That's why I think here just calling is good. Also, if you raise, we're opening the betting round again. You don't know, we raise to $1.30, he makes it $5. We just have pocket 9s at this point, guys. Now, when we say we have straight flush draw, we feel as happy as if we just bought 17 rolls of toilet paper, but in reality, our straight, it is not even, you know, 9 jack, which is, you know, already made straight with a redraw. It's just gonna be a 10 high straight if we hit the 6, and it's gonna be a jack high straight if we hit the jack. And our flush draw is just a 9 high flush draw. And we do have some showdown value in case they don't have anything in terms of a higher pair than ours. We just have pocket 9s. So raising is not a good option, which is good, but I think it's a good spot to think about. Just a call is fine. I think my student played the hand perfect, and we scooped the pot with a very beautiful hand of 10 high straight flush. Now guys, before I go, I just want to urge you to click the like button and subscribe. From what I see, 80% of the people who watch my channel are not subscribed. Please guys, subscribe and help me out to grow this channel. Also, don't forget to send me your hands so I can review them on one of my episodes. It's free. And now, since most of us are at home during the quarantine, please take that time to actually learn the game more in depth. But more importantly, just hit the like button. Thank you for those of you who already did. Thank you for the support, guys. I hope you enjoy the content, and I'll try to provide even better content in the future. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week.